Welcome to Link into Sales. This is Martin Brossman.
And Elise Archer.
And Greg Heyer is off taking care of some things today, so we're tag teaming on this, and we got a very exciting guest today. But before we do it, we want to talk a little bit about our sponsor of our show, which is NC State Technology Training Solutions. And you can learn more about them by going to linking into sales /NCSUTTS. That's linking into sales /NCSUTTS. And they offer a large gambit of professional training, from learning how to use Photoshop to our social media management certificate program, to our social selling with LinkedIn, and many other courses, including a podcast course in Raleigh, but they also go out to the Triangle area and offer training in the Triangle, customized. Please check it out if you're looking for any good quality professional training. It's a nonprofit organization, division from state, and just has excellent training facilities to come in with computers and everything. We love teaching there, so just note it and check it out for us. So today we're going to really jump right into the show. We have a very exciting guest here, and we're going to learn a little bit more about using Sales Navigator. And Elise, I'll let you introduce him.
Yes. So I am so excited, guys, that today we have Donnie Tuttle on the show. Now, I originally connected with Donnie, I think it was a couple of months ago. And Donnie, I think maybe you had liked one of my posts, or you commented or something like that, but I saw that you were the host of the Sales Heroes podcast and thought, this guy sounds incredibly important. So went and looked at your profile, and I listened to I think one of the episodes of your podcast where you were interviewing Anthony Iannarino, who I probably just butchered his last name, and I've been a fan of his for years and still can't say his last name, but I'm a huge fan of his, and I thought, oh my gosh, this guy Donnie is the real deal. He's got Anthony on his podcast. Very cool. So we connected. You actually ended up having me on your show a couple months back, which was awesome. And we've got him on our show today, guys, because I think he's just such an exceptional example of a true sales professional doing social selling the right way. So with that, I'm actually going to read you just his real actual little bio here. But in addition to his wife, Donnie is in love with B2B sales and marketing. He is a teacher, trainer, manager of the next generation of sales superheroes, listening to his podcast, the Sales Heroes podcast. And I'm also very happy and excited to announce that he is the Level Up Sales Coach at Southwestern Consulting Group, which means that I get to work with him on a regular basis, so I'm very lucky for that. So Donnie, welcome, and thank you for coming on to Linking into Sales.
Man, that is probably the nicest introduction I've ever had. A red carpet just rolled out of my screen, and I'm walking onto it.
That's fantastic. And Donnie, I heard you have how many children did you say?
Oh, just a couple.
Just a couple.
Eight to be exact. Yeah.
Yep, and we know the cause of that too, but sales is a good solution for it, generating revenue.
Yeah, do we really need to ask why you're in sales, or do we?
That's right.
You know, my first sale, my most important sale, was when I was in college. Actually, it was the dumbest class in college Success, and I watched this beautiful, what I thought was Hawaiian girl, walk into the class, dark complected, and I'm just like, this is the girl of my dreams. Mm-hmm. And I came up with the right way to meet her, and I moved the relationship, and let's just say I closed the sale. That was
Well, you can't say that and not tell us the way you came up to meet her, unless it's not PG. Can we?
No, totally PG.
Can we know?
So here's the thing. I was bad. This is interesting because it plays into social sales in a lot of the ways that salespeople are. I think that guys generally don't like asking girls out unless they know that they're going to say yes. And so I wasn't, a player. I wasn't, I didn't know a lot about dating. It's funny because when I teach on sales, sometimes I'll say things like, "Oh, it's like dating," but like my only experience is my first wife, which I've been dating for 23 years. So, but I was so shy, I had to wait for the right way, and there were some smiles back and forth, leading up to it. But one day, as she was walking down, for me it was humor. That's my strong point, was humor. She was walking down the stairs in front of me. Her backpack was open. I saw an amount of money, and I asked her. I reached into her backpack and I took the money out, and I said, "Hey, do you have three? Can I borrow $3? Don't say you don't have it." And so she took it back. She started laughing. It's funny because she was mid discussion conversation with another guy next to her, but she turned from that person, and like I had her captured from that point on. And so that's how we really started.
Amazing. So you're like a money collecting hustler everywhere, even when you met your wife. That is so good.
Usually it's collections after the sale, but yeah, in this case it was before.
So the lesson is we're supposed to take money from the customer and sell it back to them. I'm sorry, I was a little confused.
Yeah. That's it. Man, I need to write that down. That is the title of my book.
That's right. That's a good story. You need to definitely do something with that. That's fantastic. Well, I'm really eager to talk to you about growing your business using your LinkedIn connections, because this is something, the nuances of introducing and meeting people and working with them is still a beginning question we get from people coming to us on a regular basis, either from coaching or in our classes, and I think it's important to offer different perspectives on it. So we'll let you dive into that. Awesome. And see what you have with it.
Awesome. I mean, you can tweak and prune, and you can turn me like a horse any way you want me to go. For me, I believe that LinkedIn is one of the, we're all in this world, whether you're in sales or not, you're an influencer. And I love how Grant Cardone says it is the number one problem facing anyone in any business in the world is being known. And actually he has another word, and it's not anonymity. Obscurity, yeah. Thank you. The number one problem facing businesses and people is obscurity. And being able, we all have this message, we all have this wonderful thing, whether it's as a person or as a business, this wonderful message locked up, and we have to be professionals at branding ourselves, right? LinkedIn, it's this great way you can do it for free. And some of the things that I would say immediately is, first off, anyone you ever have a good conversation with, anywhere, link up. Link up on LinkedIn. It can't hurt you. I've heard of some people say, no, keep it streamlined, but for me, it gives me more influence and it gives me more reach, right? That's the. Am I seeing a finger here?
No, we're good. No, she's just taking care of something. So keep going. We're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So. But it's a great place for you to build brand and to get your voice heard out there. And if anyone, I'm sure your crowd is into growing themselves in their games as a sales professional, right? Simon Sinek, start with why. You're able to share your why, and it's not. I'm not trying to sell to people that need my product. I'm trying to sell to people who believe what I believe and who can identify with me. The number one barrier, the hardest thing for any salesperson to do is overcome the stigma that's out there that we're pushy, we're stinky, we're selfish, we're self-centered. And the truth is that a true salesperson is actually self-sacrificing and is a servant and is very knowledgeable and strong in what they're presenting. And being able to share content in a place like LinkedIn allows you to build that brand, show your value, and really kind of break the barrier of that. I guess the wall that's up there for every other salesperson.
Yep.
Which is
Donnie, hold on a second. We're getting an audio drop off from you problem. So check to see if you'll go up to the top of your Hangout. There's a band adjustment usage, and you can deteriorate your video slightly, and it'll increase your audio. So if you slide that bar down,
is it under settings, or is it on the left-hand side?
It's going to be just to the left of the gearbox.
Oh, just to the left of the gearbox.
It looks like bars on the cell phone. Go ahead and slide that down too, and say something, because we're getting too much dropout in the last thing you said. If you don't mind repeating it.
All right, I just went down one more level. Is this any better?
I wonder why it's dropping out.
Yeah.
At least you're still hearing it, right?
Yeah, I am.
Do I need to go down one more level?
Yeah, try one more level, and at least you hear it as well, right?
Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
We're still getting that drop out.
Let me go to the
Donnie,
one here.
yeah, there we go.
I'm audio only now.
Yeah, I got it. We're having dropout. Donnie, I'm going to ask you to leave, and come back to the same address. I'll send it to you because we somehow went to such a bad setting, and I'm sending you the link again. So you can just let's see. Hold on a second. Let's see what we can do. We haven't quite. Donnie, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Say something else. We'll just do an audio check.
All right.
Elise, tell us
early.
about your office so we can get more, and then we'll continue.
You want me to talk?
No, I want Donnie to talk, and you and I listen. Donnie, tell us about your office.
Okay. So my office is it is the bunker of sales. It is the it's the Hall of Justice. It's where the League of Sales Heroes gathers, and we find out how we can actually take over the world and rid the world of bad sales techniques, one person at a time.
I got it. Donnie, go ahead and disconnect, leave us, and grab the link and try to come back in. We'll stay
All
here.
right, I'm hanging up.
Okay? Got it.
Okay.
This is why we edit the show.
Yes. I have no idea what happened there.
It just dropped.
Yeah.
It dropped where it's going.
not
So
good.
for our video listeners, bear with us. We'll get this corrected momentarily.
Okay.
But
We just had all sorts of excitement. The
That's
mailman
right.
came and my dog started going nuts, and poor Donnie with his connection. So I've got my little one. I've got her like grabbed by the neck right now.
I see, got it.
She tries to bark. She's toast.
I get it. All right, here we go. We got getting you back. Donnie, can you hear us now?
Donnie, hello.
Donnie,
What
hello.
is up? I'm going to move it up here and see if we've got anything better.
That's good.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's good.
We're back on. So for the video, we'll leave it. For the podcast, we edit this. So Greg will edit. So I'm going to just jump back. You started to break up going into LinkedIn. So you were explaining that the thing I'd like to ask you about is using LinkedIn for connections, and also if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about what is your routine for staying in touch with people on LinkedIn. Is there, what is the process you use with LinkedIn for staying in touch with people?
The number one way that I try to stay in touch with people is by producing content that they would like to read or to watch, and so I try to post. I'm sharing things almost every single day, at least a couple times a day, but I try to do something original at least twice a week, and put it out there. Sometimes I'll actually tag people in those. I also am pretty active in trying to link people up with people I think that they would benefit from. For instance, if someone is one of my guys just created some cool software that allows nurses to be mobile and link up with basically like get a job in a different place every week, like have a traveling nurses type of an app. And so I've linked him up with the nurses that I know that are in my network, as well as the medical people. And so those are the ways that I try to. I do not have a routine as far as going through my people and in reaching out to them on a consistent basis. Obviously, we all get those same notifications of it's someone's birthday or it's their anniversary. In my opinion, if it's I hate to say this, if it's someone that I really care about, I have like 1 million LinkedIn people, right? If it's someone that I know and care about and I've actually spoken to, I'll take the time and I'll personalize that. And if it's someone that I don't, I'll just hit send right from the phone and get that out there.
No, that's excellent. That's excellent to understand. And And I was wondering if you think of when you're reaching out to someone new on LinkedIn, what are some of the processes you use with that? Because it's a new contact, and that's where a lot of people get stuck. It's like they go, okay, I want to connect to them, and then they get lost. Now, what I say is pretend you're at an event and it's in person and think what you would say, but love to hear your views on initiating. Now, that's a very broad question, but initiating with someone new on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so here's how it goes, ready? Hi, I'm Donnie Tuttle. I have something to sell you. Would you like to? That's what I don't do. Obviously, never, ever, ever, ever. That's rule number one, right? Never, ever walk in and try to go for the score. I know as salespeople it's hard to get out of that prospecting mentality, but we have to think of it as relationship building. And so what I like to do is definitely find your people of interest. You literally can look up, if you just Google, and there's a service that I use, and I can't remember it, top people of influence within an industry. Find out who those top people are, and have those on your list. Put them in Sales Navigator. And I know we're going to get into Sales Navigator later, but I want to find out, what are you doing? What are these people doing on LinkedIn? And if I find that, I'll probably do the same approach I did with my wife going down the stairs. I'm gonna move in slow, okay? Because here's the problem with salespeople: when people see a salesperson, it's right up in your face, and we're too quick. We think that it has to be too quick. This is a slow boil. This is we need to be able to build relationships in the way that they actually happen. And so I believe in the Gary V outlook of jab, 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 right hook. And so I'm going to comment, and then eventually I'm going to say, you know what, looks like we share a lot in common. You and I, let's connect. And I've never had anyone tell me no. And almost always after that, your door at that point is almost open to say, let's go ahead and take this offline, because your goal with social media is just to use it as an extension of yourself and to introduce yourself. And you're basically saying, hey, look, you're a person, I'm a person, we're people together, we're the same. And once they realize that you're not some salesperson on the take, they'll open up to you. It's what we are, right? That's what we all want. We all want someone out there. This takes advantage of something that I think that I've noticed out there a lot. I like to call this the wolf in sheep's clothing. What if the wolf was a good guy? What if he was a good guy?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just trying to provide for his family, wasn't trying to take all the sheep, just wanted one here or there. Maybe he's just going to take a leg bone or something. We've got three-legged sheep hopping around the field. But the idea is that social media allows us to be like, it lets us look like, we can look like our prospects. And so it's a great way to be basically to begin the relationship and to get that in order, and from there, your solution's not a fit for every single person, and that's okay. At that point, you're looking to be a friend and a connector, and if you have something that benefits them, great. If not, then whatever. It also, by the way, one more point on that. How many people have you seen out there that are true influencers on, and we're talking LinkedIn, but Twitter is the same. They put something out there, right? How many people respond to it? At least, I've seen a lot of your stuff on LinkedIn. On a good day, how many responses do you get to a LinkedIn post?
On a good day, yeah, it's minimal. I mean, I'll get 10 comments, but yeah, nothing crazy.
How many emails do you get?
Too many.
Million?
That's a sore subject. Too many.
So here's the thing. Like, I think about it like this. Like, we're all these individual people that we have this great meaning that's wrapped up into us. And in what we get in social media is we get a place to put the voice out there. The voice is going out. The voice is going out. Guess what's happening? Nothing. It's like the silence is resounding, and it's almost like someone's saying, like, oh, no one gets what I'm saying. And then one guy, Donnie Tuttle, Elise Archer, says, hey, like it. Someone likes my post? They do? Then they make a comment. Hey, I really like your idea about this, and what do you think about that? Really? This person, suddenly the walls come crumbling down. You are like them, they're like you. You become a friend to them, And I'm telling you, even top influencers out there are like this. You know how I got Anthony Iannarino on my show? I'm a nobody. Do you know how I got him on?
How?
Jab, 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 right hook. It was Anthony. Hey, I like this. Hey, let me share Anthony's articles. Hey, Anthony, love this. And I made comments. And then finally, I reached out to him and said, Anthony, love your stuff. Been a big fan for forever. Don't know if you'd be willing to do this. Your buddy, and I name dropped his buddy that was a part of the show as well. Your buddy did it. It was a great time. Would you be interested in being a part of my podcast? And he was like, sure, dude. And he's like the most low-key, down-to-earth guy in the whole world. Most people are. It's just being able to approach them in a way that doesn't. It takes away their threat sensors that think they're trying to. They think they have to block you.
Huh. I love that. I love the wolf in sheep's clothing. I have never heard anyone put it that way, and I think that's so brilliant. So I'm curious. You mentioned before, and this is kind of going back to some of the beginning of what you shared, but you try to do at least 2 pieces of original content per week. Can you give us a couple of examples of types of content that tend to work really well for you? Because I know we've got a lot of listeners who may be struggling with, do I write an article? Do I do a video? Like, I don't know what to create, and I'm having a hard time thinking of ideas of what to create for original content as well. And I think I actually remember this Monday you had a video about how to create a time machine that I thought was so cool that you publicized a couple of different ways, including LinkedIn. And so I'd love to get some ideas from you on how you create that content and what the best delivery method tends to be on LinkedIn.
So I'm gonna back it up even before that, and I'm going to say that every person that listens and watches your podcast, whatever you're selling, whatever you're doing, you need to do one thing first, and you need to come up with the image of what your ideal customer looks like. Who is your ideal customer? And there are places, I think Disney World, all kinds of places, they actually give a name to this person. If you listen to John Lee Dumas on Entrepreneur on Fire, which I highly recommend, he calls it your avatar. So this, for example, this is Bob. He's in his lower 30s. He just started a family. He's a professional who also isn't satisfied with his job. He drives this kind of car, lives in a home in the suburbs.
Hold on a second. We're losing you again. So sorry. We want to grab that. You don't anyone in the house watching Netflix that we know of?
Let me check actually.
Check because there's somebody sucking down all the bandwidth in your house. We need at least we need to kind of probably put some notes in the email, important notes, make sure that there's nothing else to remind me of it, and I'm going to see if we can get Greg and I to make a video that's a tutorial showing how to slide down that bandwidth and so we'll have those for the listeners for it.
Okay. Let me put that into Slack really quick
That's
now.
Great. Thank you. I know, we're all busy.
Okay.
Nailed her, man. My 16-year-old daughter was watching the Gilmore Girls. So
we just know what crippled it. Okay. So we're still here. Is it off now, or do you think?
I just had her quit.
Okay, let's go ahead and have you leave and come back. I hate to do this again. That was a great tip, and we don't want to lose it. And we'll make sure we cover this in email notes in the future to help other people. So I'm going to have you exit and come back in on the email, and it'll reset the internet connection. We'll get it.
Oh, you mean actually leave the show?
Yeah, because it's still there. It's still acting like someone's bringing down all the bandwidth. So.
Here we go.
Yeah. So, Elise, thanks for putting it in. We'll get this as a note, and find out. And
I'll tee him back up because he had started talking about you first have to know who your ideal customer is. Excellent. So I'll tee him back up for that.
Good.
And then Greg will hopefully be really good at editing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And for our video listeners, we apologize, but this is part of the world of the internet. It's the more advanced the technology is, the more creative problems we have, isn't it, Elise?
Yes. Well, and especially when there's 9 other people in the house with you, I think the likelihood is that someone is using some sort of internet device, right? So it happens.
That's right. Hey,
all right, we're back.
Go ahead. Hello, Donnie.
Hello.
I think we're good. Good. Go ahead, Elise.
So I'm just going to tee you back up. So if you don't mind, I apologize, but if you could start back with you were sharing about how to create content, right? How to know the right type of content to create, and you had started talking about the first thing you have to do is know who your ideal customer is. So if you could start back and just start answering that question from the beginning, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So the first thing, even before you begin to create content, is we at Southwestern, at least right in the beginning of a lot of our coaching, we start with the why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And then that's question number one. And then question number two is, why would anyone else do anything with you? And so you have to know that. You have to know who it is that you are and who it is that you're trying to attract. And so, like so many, if you listen to JLD, An Entrepreneur on Fire, or there's so many places they create what they call their ideal customer. What does this person want? What are they thinking? Where are they going? What are they doing? They're in their mid-30s. They're newly married. There are two people with a career. They have one child. They have an animal. What is it exactly? Like, paint a picture for yourself. What is it that who is it that your person is, your ideal person, and what is it that they're interested in? That's what you create. That's what you create. But it also has to be something that's in you. And so for me, I like to be in front of the camera. It's actually it's fun. And but for some people, it's not their deal. And so I think that whatever fits your flavor, do it. Here are some hints, though. Keep it brief. Keep it fun. Keep it in your personality. And anywhere where you're playing in your zone, I think is good. And let's face it, we all have something to offer. And I think that if we give ourselves permission to share what we really think and what we've seen and what we're doing, I think that's the place where you start. And by the way, I got this. This is something I would tell anyone out there creating content. Let good be good enough. Don't go for excellence. You don't have to, if it's grainy because of your video camera, because you're doing it from your iPhone sideways, it doesn't matter. Like, just let good be good enough. Start somewhere, but your key is to start, and don't be that person that has the analysis paralysis.
Yes, it's so funny. I was talking to a group of salespeople yesterday about doing like the selfie video, right? Which I think some of us do. Which you hold up your phone and you take a video and you share with the prospect why you want to meet with them and why they should talk to you. And it's like the number one key of doing that and getting it out is not watching it before you send it, because if you do, you probably won't send it. So that's I forget who says just ship it, like just ship your content, but I think you're so spot on there.
Yeah. And I've got a new one I just tried out today. I've had this app on my phone, and I would encourage everyone. It's free. It's Spark Video. So I did like a 45-second video that I just posted to YouTube today, and it actually shares an idea that I did on one of my, like, a 12-minute video. Not everybody has 12 minutes. This did it in like 45 seconds, and it just communicates it in verbal format. And it actually is very intuitive, very easy, and it's by Adobe. So I'd look up Adobe Spark Video. And Elise, check out my video. It's the Buffalo Cow theme from yeah.
Nice. That one is going to be good.
Well, Donnie, I want to learn a little bit about tips and ideas of working with Sales Navigator, because this seems to be an important part of your social selling routine in working with people, and love to get a little bit. First, would you kind of give people the quick, your version definition of it, and then dig into a little bit of how you're using it, that it's worth the money? For, if someone's a independent, commission-only salesperson, it is a larger check to write than $10 a month. So I'd love to hear
a lot of people
about that.
A lot of people roll their eyes at me whenever I say, yeah, I use it. And for me, the value is when I know who my ideal person is, I can very easily find a lot more ideal people that are just like that. So LinkedIn basically allows me to identify who those people are. And here's the cool thing. I can see any of those ideal people in these ideal job scenarios in my geographical area, and I can see who's changed jobs. I can keep a watch. I know who has who's actually posted something on LinkedIn. So when someone posts something on LinkedIn, guess what I get to do? Jab, like, comment, and I begin to warm up that relationship. And so that's what it's there for. If in anyone, I think you can get like a free month to use it, but don't do that unless you actually intend on setting aside some time on figuring out how to use it. Now, once you know those people, you can load them into the off-ramp of your regular LinkedIn. I don't know why you would, but regular LinkedIn or Twitter. But the idea is, you've identified them, and you need to begin to interact with them. And so, so here's what it looks like, right? You're at a party, you're jamming,
You're looking good.
going, right? And then you start doing this right here.
Moving your shoulders back and forth. Is that your smooth moves for the audio listeners?
That's it. So yeah, so that also works. And either you're single people out there, it works. Like, just try it.
This is how he picked up his wife. This is so
That's
good.
right.
We're getting so much dating
later.
advice
This
from you
happened
today, too.
Dating advice.
I haven't learned. She hasn't taught me everything yet. So,
I
but no,
think she's probably holding
those are the
some
eye
things
winks.
back.
Those are the eye winks, right? It's a subtlety that says, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in you. I'm interested in you. And eventually, whenever I pick up the phone, I'm going to be able to say something that is so powerful. I'm going to say, hey man, I noticed that you're a Florida Gator, so am I. And isn't it great to be a Florida Gator? And you can lead into a conversation with something that's warm and human, versus let me tell you about my product. And it's just like, people are so sick of it. They're sick of getting pitched. So I use it to identify. Oh, one tip I would say, personally I like to have just a top 20. So cast a small net and only go after people who are actually active on LinkedIn, so that you can interact with them. And the other group that you can go after is there's another setting I really like, and it's recent job changes. Because if there's a recent job change, that means they may be open maybe for some other change, and maybe I can help them to affect that change in my scenario.
With Sales Navigator, what would you say is the one or two advantages it's given you over before you had it? I mean, what's it giving you a little bit more of that you find really moves the sales process forward?
Oh, I get access to people who are not even in my first or second or third connections. I get access to everyone who's on LinkedIn that fits that criteria. That's the number one. And I think it's the intelligence of what they're doing. So LinkedIn, if you can imagine, everyone has a LinkedIn, and it's your feed. It's it's not as bad as Twitter, where it changes every in 16 seconds you're gone, right? You're so far buried underneath the feed of information there. But still, it's a constant thing where LinkedIn is updating, and and if you're using your regular LinkedIn, you're going to miss all of your prospects. So what Sales Navigator lets me do is it separates all of the noise, and it lets me focus in on only the people that I have an interest in doing business with and following.
That's interesting. So it looks like it's, like you said, it opens the door of all of LinkedIn for you, and that's one of the big selling features of committing to it, and versus first, second, third, and it's speeding things up for you, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, and and it plays well with LinkedIn as well. I do think that the new feature that they had, that they came out with a couple of weeks ago, where you can integrate it with your CRM, is good. And I haven't played around with that yet, so honestly, but that's something I'm looking forward to, participating in as well.
Yeah, we're going to go into, you had mentioned you hadn't tried that well, but LinkedIn adding Gmail to CRM integrations, a new announcement. That was going to be a tech tip, but we're still watching it, so watch for us talking more about that in the future. And if you try it out, check it out. We'll put a show notes on that at least, but we want to get someone who's worked with it a little bit and talk to them, because they're adding Gmail and CRM integration to Sales Navigator. My question is, I want to learn more which CRMs they do it. I'm a big advocate that LinkedIn needs to be a little more open to the general public. Would be helpful, and it's like they're trying to control the ocean and then sell social selling, which is about surfing. So it's a contradiction to me in that area, and I'm hoping someone at LinkedIn's listening. Walk the talk of what you're encouraging a little more.
Yes.
Elise,
they will be now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Elise, there's a hero conversation I'd like to go next, and I'll let you pick that up.
Yeah. So
are you going to ask me
one of the
Mariah
things
Carey's song? I'm ready.
Yeah. No, we're not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We're gaining
Oh,
listeners
I
right
was going
now.
to say yes. No, Martin, that's you at our conclusion. That's how we're going out today.
Gotcha. Well, I want you to help me understand a little bit more about this idea of a sales hero. You did it, and there was a guy in my area in marketing, Diogenes Ruiz, and he built a marketing firm, and he built this thing called Superheroes, and he built powers and developed business cards on it. They were just fantastic. He's now moved more working with his church and other things and playing music. But he was founded this concept for a long time, and people would be giving out these cards, and he'd do drawings that were cartoons of the person talking about their superhero powers, and he'd identify them. And that looks like something that you've had some fun with, and I think that's neat because you might be able to work with maybe clients or use this as a sales thing as well. So I'd love for you to talk about that idea, and have you used it at all in the sales process?
All right. So the idea, there's a few places it comes from. First off, I was a geek, and that might lend to like my whole my dancing moves and my inability to to date or pick up. But I loved comic books. Heroes were a big thing for me growing up, and I really do believe, as one of my my life messages is that every single one of us has a purpose, and we have. In that we have a power. We have something in our DNA that no one else can replicate, and I love that idea. And when I came into sales, I wasn't. I hit all the marks, all the high achievement marks, but I wasn't very. I don't think it was that good. I don't know how it happened, honestly. But there came a point because I felt like I was serving myself. When I realized that it wasn't about me serving me, but me serving other people, I realized I got a different look at myself, and I'm like, I am a hero. And it helped me to overcome a lot of the obstacles that salespeople face on a day in and day out basis. That I'm not weaker, I'm not subservient, I'm actually stronger, and it's from that place of strength that I can serve. And I came across something called, it was Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. And what that is, there are stages that almost every heroic tale follows. And it even goes, even I think someone's even equated it to, Jesus's journey, but Star Wars or the Iliad or you name the heroic tale, and it starts out with someone who gets a great call, and when they get the great call, they usually they reject it, and then a wise person, some sage, comes along, and they talk them into accepting it, and they go on this journey. So the hero's journey begins. Then they're endowed with some magical power or a sword or a lightsaber or the Force or whatever it is, and they go on. And in the middle of these battles, there's a couple more stages. They face the enemy, they overcome, they come back as someone who is now a sage, and they're changed when they come back. And if you think about Star Wars, for example, George Lucas followed this to a T, and it matches for a few reasons. First off, if you think about any organization that's out there, the number one hero that actually does exist in that organization is a salesperson. Because do you know on the back of one fully functioning, fully active salesperson, that 34 non-sales jobs are being supported by that one person? So one person fully activated is carrying 34 people on his or her back. Mm-hmm. In addition, right, if someone is not influencing and selling, then there's no food on the tables. Money's not being exchanged, mortgages aren't getting paid, and so life is actually it's bad when we don't have influencers. So I feel like salespeople are those heroes. And the twist on this is that when we go out, yeah, we're the heroes. Salespeople are the heroes, but when we go out, like, we need to actually not be the hero. We need to actually be the one that helps the hero, because in the story of the customer, the client, they're the hero. And we need to be the Yoda that convinces Luke to go, or we need to be their King Arthur, we're only Excalibur. We're helping them to complete their journey. But so that's that's a little bit of the how that locks in. Plus, I'm just a geek, and but I really do. I believe that salespeople are unsung heroes, and if they see themselves that way, it unlocks and gives them permission to actually go and be great.
There's several things I hear in this that are interesting reminders, and one is stepping into the metaphor of what are your own superhero powers can help a salesperson get out of their own way and get out of as a coach I talk about the little you and the big you, and that many of us are listening to the little us that's about 5 or 7 years old, filled with doubt or whatever we had there, versus the bigger you. And what I hear in the idea of picking a superhero and stepping into it is just like a kid playing with it. It lets them to step into a more resourceful state for themselves than they may not directly access. And that's one thing I heard in what you said, which is fascinating and really kind of a good reminder to play with, especially if somebody's in sales or newer and's gotten stuck or life's occurred and they've been knocked off their horse and lost some of their self-esteem and self-worth, thinking, okay, I'm going to step into being a superhero, and what would I be, and what are my powers to do it? And one of my quotes is, for most people, is be anything but yourself, it'll be an upgrade, because their self-image is so small versus their actual abilities and gifts that they have.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. And then the second thing I heard you say, which is, and correct me if it's off, is listening for the superhero in your customer. What a wonderful thing. Listening for what's great about them and how you can be a catalyst on their great journey. What a great place to be in as far as supportive selling. So is this a line with your thinking?
Absolutely, absolutely. And even to kind of top that one off, so many people, they want to talk about what you need to fix. And we're so, and I think I don't know if it's just a Western culture thing, it's always about like bigger, better, faster. And that's, if you can learn to stay in your zone and actually be what you're saying, be your big self, which really means finding your strengths and leading with those rather than like trying to fix all the junk that's that's junk. And so I find that one of the keys to, self-improvement really isn't even improvement, it's just identifying.
That's excellent.
I'm curious, Donnie, so one of the things that I try to encourage a lot of my coaching clients to do is create a platform that they can share their message from, whether that's video, YouTube, or something like a podcast. Now, for most people, the initial reaction is, oh my gosh, I could never do that. That would be so much work. I don't know what I would say. And I've been trying to share the value of having something like that for the sales process. So I would love to hear from you. Can you share with our listeners, and I'm going to pass this on to my clients, could you share a couple ways that you think a salesperson might be able to leverage a podcast to connect with their best prospects and clients?
Yeah, absolutely. First, writing that down. First, I would start with the why. Right, and again, it's that self-identity, and you are able to attract people who are like you. And the truth is every business owner out there, no one says, I'm in business because I'm just like everyone else. Every business owner says, no, I'm better than everyone else. I just need enough people to see me, and if they see me, they'll know that I'm better. Salespeople need to believe that about their products as well, and so we need to believe, hey, I got something. As long as they see me, they'll believe that too. And so that's a part of the why. The other part of it is like when people are checking you out. All right, let me back up. You get hooked up on a blind date. So are we all, Martin? Are you married? At least
I'm very married.
You're very married. Okay. So
I'm very close to married.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm working on it.
Okay. So.
Yeah. If Martin has anything to do with it, I'll be married soon. All right. Continue.
So a friend. Let's just say we're not in an alternate dimension, alternate realities. I'm a comic book guy. Another reality, alternate dimension. Someone comes to you and they say, hey, have I got the person for you? Don't worry, I've checked them all out, blind date. You ready to go? Now, if they're a close friend, you might trust them at their word, but you're still what are you gonna do when you leave their presence? You're gonna go online. First, do they have a criminal record? Right. Next, what do they look like? What are these people? Do they match my criteria for people I like to do business with? So what do you think that people are doing in business? They're doing the same thing. And man, if they go to LinkedIn and they're not finding you, or your profile is all jacked up, I mean, come on, how serious are they going to take you? It's an extension of you, and it needs to be seen as your persona. And so the things that I would say to start easy. but I would say it's worth investing your time. I like actually, make it a part of your strategy. Give yourself time each day to do it. Now, don't let it be the main driver of all your time, because the reality is social media is only it's the introduction, or maybe it's a love letter. But like, if I only introduced myself to my wife and then wrote her love letters, but I was never around, like, obviously that wouldn't work out. So you still need to show up in person, and you still need to follow through with everything you said. But it's a good place to be to begin that. The idea is that we're all creating our tribe, right, and bringing people to us and attracting people to us who are like us, or we're jumping onto someone else's tribe, and there's bleed over in a lot of that, right? And so I would say just make it a part of your your day-to-day routine. And if you're going to start small, there are 1,001 ways. First, get a good profile. Have your LinkedIn and Twitter profile up to date, ready to roll, professional. There are the right picture, not the, there's so many. I'm thinking about you ever seen the profile where you see someone's hand but the arm is cut off because they think it's, yeah. Have a good professional image of yourself. Next, you need to begin to interact with people. You need to find out where your circles hang out with, right? I mean, if I could, I was walking through our neighborhood one time, and we have a lake, and the lake overflowed, and it overflowed into like a ditch, and I didn't realize that it had been days since the flood, and the waters receded, and we were walking, and we saw all this movement in the ditch, and you know what it was? Fish. So in an area that was probably 3 feet by 5 feet, myself and my children hand caught 68 fish. Now we took them, we threw them back into the lake so they can catch them later, right, and rip their lips off when they're doing that. We weren't being, but it was, the idea was though is that we had all these fish in the same area, and a lot of times you'll find your people that you're going after, they're talking, they're in the same area, they're in a concentrated area called a LinkedIn group, and you can see what their thoughts are, you can see what their concerns are, you can see their dialogue, and you know what? Don't go in and try to sell something. Mm-hmm. Go in there and get their pulse. Try to be, right, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Try to figure out who they are and see if you can actually really help them. Yeah. So podcast, video, do whatever. I would say start with what's easy, but invest yourself. You have to get a vision for whatever is your flavor and invest yourself. I do want to give one tip, by the way. You guys have seen this Facebook Live thing? Mm-hmm. I love LinkedIn. It's my number one place, LinkedIn and Twitter. But Facebook owns like social media by 10 times over anything else. They also have this algorithm that normally puts you at the bottom of all feeds, or they choose where you go. Well, they have this new thing they have, right? Facebook Live. If you use it, it will automatically put you at the top of the feeds, and it will also more people. You're going to be very visible if you use Facebook Live. You are very invisible if you repost a YouTube video, because YouTube and Facebook are competitors, but if so in other words, you can hack a little bit of their algorithm by using the Facebook Live app. Cool. And do it simultaneous. Do it simultaneous while you're doing whatever else you're doing. Just do it simultaneous.
So you basically would do the Facebook Live while you're filming your YouTube video or something like that at the same time.
Yes.
Multitasking, which we tell all our clients not to do, but which in this case is
good work.
Perfect.
Just hit a button. Yeah, just hit a button.
Yeah, I guess that's not too dangerous. There's so much good here, Donnie. I mean, so many good nuggets that any of our listeners who've been listening should be able to walk away with. So many good ideas to go out and build their brand and connect with their customers the right way. I'd like to wrap up by asking you one final question, and I think this is something that you actually ask the guests on your show, or it may be a very butchered version of what you ask the guests on your show, but I would love to know, if you had to pick just one sales superpower that you have, what would that be and why?
Ooh, you turned the tables against me. My own question. So I would say that that's just funny. I've never even thought about the answer to my own question. So
we didn't prep him for this, guys.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So I would say that likability in calibration, being able to calibrate myself to the needs of the others. Also, not just the needs, but also the type of person they are. I'm a pretty good chameleon, and not in a way that's disingenuous. I would say that being genuine about what I'm doing is always the key in looking to serve rather than to to give rather than to get. Those are, I guess, if you were to wrap it up all into one, that would be my superpower. Elise, what would your superpower be?
Oh, you're not supposed to do that. It would be everything you just listed.
Actually, for those of you interested, Elise did answer that question, and the video is actually, it's already live. It's in my YouTube feed, but the audio will go live on Tuesday of next week. The actual audio podcast of that, so you can hear it on Sales Heroes.
Well, Donnie, we will put the link. Let's make sure we trade links on it so they can hear this as well when we get it up. And that's fantastic. Yeah, I love the idea of superheroes, and I just want to tell you the hero's journey. That's something salespeople might research and understand. That is primal to human evolution, but something we could do a whole show on one day. I want to thank you so much for being here. This was fantastic. Look forward to staying in touch, maybe doing another show with you on one of these topics and going deeper in it. And I want to take a moment. You were mentioning the importance of getting your LinkedIn and Twitter profile set up, and we happen to offer a free course on that we put together, and I want to mention where people can get it. Make sure it's still free right now. It's at socialselling.training, and they want to sign up. It takes a few hours. It's a comprehensive, really roll up your sleeve fundamentals of LinkedIn and Twitter profiles. You can take them separately and get a little certificate link on your LinkedIn, and we're going to be offering some other social selling training rolling out. You'll find out more about in the future. So, you can check it out, or anyone else, but it's Greg and I and Elise, who helped out in advising on it, put a lot of hours in giving away. We really believe the basics of a good LinkedIn profile shouldn't be charged for. Everyone needs to get on the bandwagon. So I think that's aligned with what you said. And
servants of excellence.
That's right. And Donnie, what's the best place for people to learn more about you that you'd like them to go to on the air, and then we'll put it in the show notes?
I appreciate that. Now, by the way, I would encourage anyone and everyone to jump on board with that social selling training. What a service. The way you can get me, it's just easy. If you're a Twitter person, it's at Donnie Tuttle. But you can get all my stuff in one place, and it's levelupsalescoach.com. Level up like a video game, levelupsalescoach.com.
Excellent. That sounds like a great way, and find you on LinkedIn. We'll have those in the show notes too. This is Martin Brossman and Elise Archer here, and thanks for having a terrific show. We'll be in touch soon.